Hey, it's Mary Beth Decker with sacredgrove.com, and I'm your host for Spiritual Pet People. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of information, stories from my own life and from friends' lives about when their animals have come back and made themselves known, so to speak. And that's right now. This is a message it seems people need to hear. Uh, um, I'm guessing because in my own life, in the past month, uh, I work with animals through their lives and at the end of their lives as doing intuitive animal communication. And one of the things I do is help them out at the end of their life, help their people out as well. And I've lost, not personally, but six of my clients and their animals. Six animals have passed away in about the last month for me, and that has wow, four in the last week. So I'm working on my small grief because all my pups and kitties are still okay, but I want to talk about some of the good stuff after they've passed. And I also did a poll, and there's a number of people, thank you so much, who filled out the poll of, have you had the experience of your animal connecting with you after they passed? And a bunch of people, dogs were number one, cats were number two, and we had horse and a bird too. So thanks. And I got some great stories on there. So if you find the poll and read the stories, they're fantastic. I loved Leslie, who's a neighbor down the street. She and her daughter kept seeing her animal, and the husband not believing until he catches the animal out of the corner of his eye, and he's like, "Okay, I'm a believer. All right." And that's just so wonderful when the whole family gets a chance to experience it. All right, so let me say. First off, animals, as in my experience, animals survive death. Their personalities survive death. I heard a theory one time that when the body died, the animal spirit just kind of disintegrated back to energy and just went up to source. And that's a nice theory, but I haven't seen it to be true. I've checked in with animals after they've passed, and their personalities are right there. So, so there's somebody to connect to. The other thing that you have to just believe and know that it happens to a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there who have stories about connecting with their animals after they've passed. So it's not weird unless you're hanging out with people who don't believe that. But if you're hanging around with people who love their animals, you're going to hear some great stories. Oh, Karen, thanks. I saw that little love there. Thank you so much. And here's my advice. It's kind of a smart alecky thing, but it also is the truth. Hey, they took the time, and Karen, I got your Scotty's cup, by the way. All right, so just a little side verse. Karen Scotty's. They took the time and the energy to come back, push through, and connect with you. So, least you could do is say, "Oh, wow, thank you, Stella," or "Thank you, Mitsubishi," for coming back. I'll take more of that, like, be happy. Don't say, "Oh, I just really wanted to see them, and so it's on my imagination." That's really nice. I'm being sarcastic here, but hey, somebody knocks on your door and it's a person you haven't seen for a while or an animal, and they come to the door and you think, "Oh, I wish, that's so nice that they're here, but I didn't ask them to," and you close the door back on them. No, welcome them in. They're usually in a really good place, and they're coming to see you because they love you. All right? So that's my advice. So let me get to some good stories. I wrote a book, Peace in Passing, Comfort for Loving Humans During Animal Transitions. And from that book, I got a lot of stories, and I've got some stories of my own. So I'll start with my own. I have a dog, Timmy. He was a street dog in Hawaii. He was my best dog. We got him when we went to a dinner at St. Timothy's of Iea. And so his full name is St. Timothy of Iea, but we call him Timmy. After he passed a couple of years, I looked out of the corner of my eye while I was making dinner, and I saw him sitting there. And it wasn't see-through ghost like, I don't know if I really saw it. It was like the boy was sitting in the dining room smiling at me. And and many people have had the same thing. You look around, you do the full body, look eye on eye, and he's gone. But I got it out of the corner of my eye. And if you've heard the story before, I apologize, but it's still good. I knew, one, he survived death. Two, he was completely happy. He had that silly grin of a happy dog that we all know. And three, he took the time to come back and say, hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you. So I got that one. And it was Timmy. And Eddie, kids named her Eddie. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm not to blame for that. But she passed away just before I had to travel for an annual meeting. And if you're like me, the last thing you want to do is work. You know, they should have time off for people to mourn their pets, just like the folks are human, the humans we live. But anyway, that's not happening. Had to get on the plane. For some reason, I was in the outside aisle, which was really good. I usually sit by the window, and I felt like she was, I wish you could see down, but right next to me. And so I'm the silly human being sitting there petting my dog. Of course, nobody else can see, but I know she's right there. And she followed me. She came with me into the hotel room. I didn't have to do anything that day, and I was able to grieve, and she hung out with me that whole night. So the next day, I was able to get up and do what I needed to do. So here's somebody who just lost their life, so to speak, and they're helping me. Okay, so I love it. So from some of my friends, I'll start with I think she's reminding me, my mother-in-law, Pat, who's passed away. She had a cat who would jump on the bed and sleep next to her. She didn't see her, but she felt her, and they snuggled up. And anybody who's cats, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So she knew that her cat was there. Gail, who's in this group, I worked with Gail and Ashley, and Gail had the delightful experience, and she still has Ashley around. She put it in one of the comments in the poll. But she saw Ashley's tail just going by, if you can imagine that. How wonderful. So you might see a body part. You might see a body part. Other folks have told stories of hearing barking or meows, or even, you know, if you have wooden floors, you hear nails tapping on the floor, and you know who it is. You just know who it is. I'd love if you have some stories. I'm not sure I can always read the comments and talk about them, but I'd love to hear some stories too if you have any. So you've got hearing things, you've got seeing things. I've had people whose dogs used to sleep they wouldn't get on the couch or the chair with them, but they'd sleep on their feet, and they felt like there was a dog right on them, actually on their feet, keeping the feet warm. So you have those physical sensations. What else do we have? Well, I've heard another story that I just read recently where, you know, and I believe it's in the Spiritual Pet People comments, where the dog would always open the door and greet the wife and the husband before she went on her, or he went on his way in the morning, and they had the same sense of the door opening, actually open, and they got a kind of a nose hello, and they both felt it, and they knew their dog was there. So you can get all kinds of signs from your animals too. I know that symbolically sometimes if you say, just let me know by this, then I'll know you're back. Or, just ask them to come to you. And okay, and the other place is in dreams. Now, you can have your dogs be symbolic in your dreams when they're just part of the story, but there's a difference when you feel like you and your dog, I'm saying dogs because I heard that the most part, you and your animals, I'm sorry, I got somebody's mad at me like I'm leaving out the horses and the cats and the birds, so my apologies, guys. You can connect with your animals in the dream, and it feels more like a reunion. Okay, it doesn't feel like there's a story going on and they kind of show up in the story. No, it's like you are back together for a little bit, and please cherish that. Again, it's real. It's not a dream. There is something good happening. Okay. So those are the things that I can think of right now that have happened. And so the couple of things I want to say about if this hasn't happened for you and you'd like it to, you might look at how much guilt, remorse that you're holding. Most of us these days pick a date to let our animals go. So we have to take the responsibility. We take the responsibility of deciding when to end their lives. How hard is that? Right? Okay. So what you need to remember if you're feeling remorse or guilt, and I've said it in my previous video, but it needs to be said again, is if you did it with a clear heart, with love, and with the best intention for your animal to be at peace, possibly because they're in pain, they're not with it anymore, they don't get to do the stuff that really turn them on. They are not upset about that. They trusted you with their life from the beginning to the end, and that included their passing. So it still probably doesn't hurt. If you need to, you might say out loud, look, I'm really sorry. I'm still feeling bad about this. But feel some release. Feel from their side how they're saying it's fine. It's great. It's all right. I'm good. And then as you release the remorse and the guilt and you replace it with just the fond memories, there's a lot better chance that you're going to get something from them. Some kind of something. And it's no guarantees, okay? But that's what you need to do, in my experience. If there's anything that comes for you that you need to do, you go ahead and do that too, all right? So that's it for me. I would love, again, to hear if you have any questions that I didn't cover. I will respond in comments, and if you... and I will share with you whatever I know to help you feel better about what's going on. And if you have any good stories about your animals coming back, those I would like to hear as well. All right, you have a good day. Bye now.